Well, hello everybody. I'm Gregg Isenhoff, criminal justice instructor. Today I'm here with Chef Luke Vandop, culinary arts instructor. And I'm so excited today because Chef Vandop is going to teach me how to fix up some salmon and make them into lox, which in an episode I like to call Loxing Up the Salmon. So Chef Luca, thanks so much for taking time out to teach us how to make salmon.
Sure.
You want to talk a little bit, tell us kind of what we're about to do today and the importance of making lox the right way?
Well, what we have here is some wild-caught sockeye salmon that Gregg was able to get for us, which is great. And the preparation that we're going to do today are lox, which is a cured salmon without using any pink salt, and we're actually doing some old school curing here, just using salt and sugar. And I just want to have Gregg talk really quickly and about why this is important to him as a man of Jewish faith. And I want my students to understand that you really need to know your customer and what their faith is and how that might impact you as a chef and what you're serving on your menu in your establishment.
Yeah, so pretty much as I married into a Jewish family, and a lot of the family eats kosher. And a lot of the impact that we have is all the holidays that we have. Everybody gets excited when we have bagels and lox. And having the lox prepared, you know, in a way that is just real and just ethnic, there's certain places where you can go to get really good kosher food. Like if you go to Toronto, you'll have some incredible places that you can go and eat at. And when you have lox, I mean, if the lox aren't cut the right way, and they're maybe too thick, or they just don't have the right taste, you know, the lox just aren't the same. When I bite into a nice bagel of lox, I just want that salmon just to explode in my mouth with great flavor as I bite into each part of that. But like you said, it's like you have to be careful of who your customer is because you can't mix certain things with other foods depending on people's faith.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And having a general understanding of people's faith and how that impacts you as the chef in your establishment is very important. So going on to talk about how to make lox, the first thing you want to remember about making anything that you're going to cure is you want to have the freshest items possible that you can have available to you. Now, living in Michigan in the middle of December, it's a little bit challenging to get the very freshest, but what we got here came from Alaska, was fresh caught, vacuum sealed, sent down to us, and is in really great shape considering how far it's traveled. So what Gregg and I are going to do is we're going to mix some kosher salt with some white sugar, pretty close to equal amounts. I have about 12 ounces of salt and about 10 ounces of white sugar. And we're going to put these two things together, and then we're going to grate some lemons, some limes, and some oranges and some zest, and we're going to fold that into our sugar and our salt. Then we're going to rub these quite liberally all the way around these salmon, and what's going to happen is the salt is going to prepare and in essence cook this fish short of applying heat. How does that work?
Wait, are you telling me we don't even add heat to this?
No heat, brother.
No
We're
heat?
going straight
Oh,
into the cooler, and time is our friend on this, and the salt.
Okay.
Salt, along with sugar, are both preservatives. And before we had heat, this was how many things were prepared and or preserved so that, you know, we didn't have refrigeration, so we had to come up with a way to store things long term.
Okay.
Salt cod, salt pork. I mean, they would just take these things, pack them in barrels, dump salt on them, and stack them up and seal them, and they'd last for days or years, months, on ships or wherever they were at room temperature.
See, because when I think of lox, you know, it's like I always think about my salmon, right, and cooking it and stuff like that. But the lox, I mean, you look at that fresh cut salmon, those nice thin slices,
when it's done.
and oh my gosh, yeah. So I'm super excited with this. So what I like to do is this: I like to kind of move the camera, and then you kind of prepare one, and then I'll try to prepare one as good as you after you show me kind of how to do it. Is that okay?
Done.
All right. So what we're going to do, Chef, if you want to just kind of talk way through it, because I am not a cook at all. I have no clue what I'm doing, and I am not scared to admit it. You ask my wife, hey, can you make something? And she's gonna, you know, she'll look at me and be like, I'll make it, not you.
Let's just hold on to that. Okay.
So with that being said, let's take the film here and let's bring it a little bit. What do we have here, first of all? If you can kind of show us like what's on the table? Because I see a lot of different salt, sugar. And
So all we
stuff
got
like
here is we have two setups. This is standard mise en place for my students. You all know what mise en place is, and you all know how important it is to have everything ready to go before you start. So what I have here is two setups for two fillets. And now that I know the size of these, we may actually be able to do it with one. But what I have here is 10 ounces of white sugar, and what I have here is 12 ounces of kosher salt. I have an orange, I have a lemon, and I have a lime. You would think to yourself, how are you going to be able to use these 5 ingredients and transform this salmon into something that's edible? And it's as simple as this. Salt is going to pull the moisture out of a salmon because salt, by its nature, is always seeking its equal. So it's always trying to equalize itself throughout whatever it is it's on. So we're going to put the salt and the sugar on here, and over a period of days, probably 2 to 3, with some pressure, we're going to pull the moisture out of the salmon, and then at the same time, we're going to reintroduce the moisture to the salmon, and it's going to cure it by killing the bacteria, and at the same time, it's going to reduce the moisture, and as you know as a culinary student, if you kill the bacteria by direct contact, or if you reduce the moisture and you pull the moisture out of the equation, bacteria can't grow. So at the end of the day, it's a pretty simple idea. And here's how we're going to do it.
You're saying I can't make lox in an hour?
In an hour? No. No, man. It takes time. It's
So-
a food of love.
No, I agree with you. And if you want anything good, you got to wait enough time for it. But my question is this: you said put pressure on it. When we put pressure on that part, what do you mean pressure on it?
Well, what we're going to do is, I'm going to demo one real quick, and then you're going to do it.
Okay, great.
And we're going to lay them side by side in this pan. This is a 2-inch hotel pan, full size, standard stuff for us. We're going to lay them together, head to tail.
Okay.
We're going to put a piece of plastic wrap over it, and then we're going to put a second pan on it, and then we're going to grab some plates or some cans out of the room or whatever, and we're going to put them on there, and that's going to create some pressure, which is going to change the composition or the tooth feel of the fish.
Okay.
So while it's curing, you're kind of forcing the salt into it a little bit, and at the same time, you're changing it so when we slice it and we put it on that bagel, or in my case, we just eat it straight up, you want to be able to have it to the tooth. Texture is important when people are eating.
Absolutely.
And it's critical, like sushimi, it's pretty much just straight raw fish, which is fantastic if you're into that, but a lot of people have trouble with the texture. So by doing this method, we're going to firm this up and make it more to the tooth and have a little bit more chew.
Great. Okay, because I was wondering, I'm looking at the salmon here, and I'm thinking to myself, put pressure on it. What do we put in some kind of a box or something that puts air into
It's
it?
interesting you should ask that. Grab your counter and walk right over here. You're
Okay.
good. Sorry about the look of my room. This machine right here is called a vacuum sealer. And if we wanted to, we could take that salmon, we could rub it, we could put it in a bag, stick it in here, and vacuum seal it down to 99.9% of oxygen removal. And that would perform the same function as the function we're going to be doing with the pan and the 2 cans. So if you don't have the pans, or if you want to take up less space in your cooler, you could certainly vacuum seal, create your pressure that way, and achieve the same result.
Wow.
But we're doing it old school.
All right, so take us through the kitchen here as we go back. And as we make these lox, I'm excited. I'm really pumped up about this. So you're going to make yours, and then I'm going to make mine, and then we're going to put them side by side, and you're going to embarrass me. That's pretty much what we're doing, right?
Well, you know what? They're going to be the same because you're going to do the same exact thing I am. So right now, I'm taking my grater, and there's different types of zest. You know, my students, you're aware of the handheld zester that gives you the long, stringy pieces of the hide, and that's great for presentation. But I'm really not too concerned about the presentation as much as I am full extraction of flavor. So I'm going to come in on this box grater, and I'm just going to run this line pretty vigorously through this fine grate, and I'm just going to keep rotating it as I grind it. We're just going to keep going, keep going. You can start to smell the oils releasing from the skin. Bold flavor, excellent amount of acid. It's going to be fantastic.
It smells great. Now, quick question: you ever nick your knuckles up on that?
Oh
Is there
yes,
some way I
yes.
should hold it?
There's a lot of my knuckle on a lot of different graters over the course of the years, but it's not something you want to make a practice of doing. You want to try to keep your knuckles out of people's food as much as possible.
So is there a certain way I should hold it when I do it, or just
Well,
just
you'll be
grip it?
doing the same thing, and you just want to keep working it. The key is to be rotating the fruit, because you can see when you get a good grade, you get it right down to the flesh. And if you're not, you just kind of get in the surface.
Yeah.
And you know, if it doesn't grab, just go off to the sides a little bit where it has a little bit more pinch. You know, these box graders get used a lot, so the center part is where everybody wants to go. They're not quite as sharp. So you just come out to the outsides, keep working it.
Now I noticed that
into
you
the
kind of went
inside.
around the box a little bit on 2 different grades. Does it matter which one you use?
You know what? You're just trying to get the zest, and this is what we're after right here.
Got it.
So I got that. Now I'm going to come to my lemon. Same deal. As best as it'll do it.
So we're mixing both of the zest together then.
We're going to mix all 3 zests. We're
3.
doing orange, lemon, and lime. And again, I'm using a coarser one now just to expedite this process.
Sure.
But all we're doing is nicking them up and we're releasing the oils that are in the skin.
Okay.
We don't want the juice, we just want the oil from the skin. And
So-
it doesn't need to be pretty because it's going to give us the flavor we want, but it's not going to be part of our final presentation.
So what I don't want to do is I don't want to get it deep enough where the juices start coming out and getting all over the zest.
Is it going to be the end of the world if that happens? No.
Okay.
But the oil that's in the skin of the fruit is going to deliver the maximum amount of flavor to our overall fish at the end of the day.
Got it. Now this is fun. So any suggestions, like for new chefs or anything like that coming into the business? Is there anything like, I mean, could those be too big? Like the zest?
These right here, they're not the prettiest, but they're going to give us what we want. They're going to give us our flavor. They're going to give us our oil. That's going to infuse with the sugar and the salt. And over the period of time, utilizing the pressure, that essence will be in our final product when we taste it.
Got it. Okay.
And it's just a game of time, you know.
So I was just wondering, it's like sometimes it's like, I'm just a horrible chef, so I have no idea. I'm not even a chef, okay? So I look at this and I watch you kind of do, shave off that peel off there. And I was wondering if bigger pieces or little pieces, if that matters, but it doesn't.
If I was doing this to present, I would be a little bit fussier and I would be using a hand zester.
Okay.
And I would be looking for those nice, long, curly strands. But all I want out of this is the oil,
Okay.
the flavor.
So
And this isn't the greatest box grader. We're just working with what's here. You know, a brand new one, we'd already be done by now.
got it.
So,
Now, am I doing a ton of that? Is there a certain amount that I put on it? Like,
you know,
how do I
I'm
know if I
looking
have enough?
for this size filet. See, that orange zested up really nice.
Oh, that looks good.
Now,
It
here we
smells
are.
great in here, everybody.
So, we got our lemon, we got our lime, and we've got our orange zest. So now, we're just gonna bring these two, the salt and the sugar, we're gonna bring them together. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna swoop this right in, this zest. And we're just gonna get in there with our hands and we're just gonna start working it in.
Man, that smells good.
It's super simple. This is probably one of the easiest things anybody can prepare this. It just comes down to making sure that you have enough salt and sugar to cure the fish. And then whatever your flavor profile is, it doesn't have to be zest. It's just that zest is good and people like citrus and it works well with fish. You could do fennel. You could do peppercorn. You could do garlic. I mean, you name it. If you can get it infuse it into your sugar and your salt and still do a proper cure, you're good to go. So it's really just a matter of what you want to do. And so you can see where we're at. We got it all mixed. So now I'm grabbing my pan and I'm bringing my pan over to me. And I'm just going to lay this filet. This particular filet is skin on, okay? Skin on, skin off. It's a really personal preference. If it's me, I prefer the skin off, but hey, these are on and they're thin enough to where I don't think it'll impede our curing process that bad. So I'm gonna put it down in the pan and I'm just gonna take this mixture and I'm gonna coat it. And when I say coat it, I mean coat it.
So you're putting a lot on there.
We're covering it, baby. It's gonna be white when we're done. You're not gonna see that much pink at all.
So this
This is what we're doing right here, is we are forcing the salt and the sugar into the filet, and the pressure is what's going to deliver for us. Now, usually we would have fillets that are probably twice this size, so we really have enough salt and sugar here to do both. But Mr. Isenhoff has an interest in doing this himself, so we're going to take him through the process. We'll probably just save his for another fish at another time. You have more fish at home, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So bring it in and we'll just cure up some more.
So here's my question for you. Does it matter now when I cut that up, having that skin on?
You would pull the skin off if it was me for this presentation. Now, for a cooked salmon, if you were grilling it, sauteing it, something of that nature, the skin wouldn't be that big of a deal.
So will that take away some of the flavor? So if the other one, if I skin the other one, and then
look at how that's already drawn out that much moisture that fast. Remember how white it was?
Yeah.
Now it's
crazy.
pulled it right out. It's happening fast, and we haven't even. This isn't even using a nitrate. This is just kosher salt.
Now, so once we put pressure on it and let it sit there for, you said a couple days, right?
A couple days minimally. Yeah. For these fillets, probably 2 days will do it.
Do I have to add any more of that zest and sugar and salt?
Everything you need is in here right now.
So once you get it packaged like that, you leave it for a few days and let it just cure, right?
It's all it's got to do is time and pressure.
Okay.
Yep. So go ahead and I'll wash my hands, and then I'll take the camera, and you'll come over here and you'll make your batch of salted sugar.
Oh boy, everybody, this ought to be good. This ought to be good. I'm so excited right now.
This way, we're not giving you a knife, and we're not letting you near a fire.
Okay. Well, I was never a firefighter, right? Nor did I ever want to be. So, okay, I always joke around about firefighters. I always say, if you want to be able to sleep on the job, become a firefighter, because that's what they get to do. All right, so I'm going to grab, it doesn't matter, right? Just some lime. It doesn't matter which one I...
Nope. You keep working with the one you got. Make sure you get to the sides and take advantage of those sharp teeth.
You know, oh, wow. That does make a difference, actually. Holy smokes.
Yeah, we really cook here, so our equipment gets used.
Yeah. I could tell just going through it. Now, is there a certain amount of zest I want it actually?
Well, you saw how much I added into here. At the end, I probably had 2.5 tablespoons total.
Okay.
And, that really is just relevant to the size of the fillet and the amount of intensity you're looking for in your final product. Now, you're going to have to reach up in there and grab it out when you get it. So here at the Kent Career Tech Center Hospitality Program, we're doing this kind of stuff all the time, especially here in the meat room. Curing, salting, smoking, it's all a big part of what we're doing.
Now, how come it seems like when you did it, there was a lot more that fell off than when I'm doing it? It's like, come on, what's going on here? All right. Okay.
You're getting there.
So go to the sides, use the sharper ones here as I go through this nice zesty.
Oh yeah,
now you're so good.
Now you're going. All that oil you're releasing is getting right into the air too. Beautiful. Now reach up in there and scrape it out. There you go. Work it right down. There you go. Now you'll do your lemon.
Okay, so is this enough?
Oh, we still need the orange.
Yeah, I know.
We're looking at about, that's okay. A little more wouldn't hurt.
All right, let's get some more up on here. Like some good fish. I'll tell you what, I love the flavors. And when you say make it the bite, that's so crucial.
Oh my goodness, yes, it's huge.
Yeah, if you get like a mushy, nasty bite, it's just like, it doesn't make the lock like at all appealing to the taste and flavor.
If the texture's off, if the texture's off, the whole thing is done before you even start. It's really true.
Okay, so
orange next.
Yeah.
Orange.
All right. Get that orange going, man. I'll tell you what, making this stuff though and smelling this, it's like a holiday.
Well, it is. Now, for you guys, this is a big part of the Christmas holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, so like during Hanukkah, we'll be pulling out these locks, and Hanukkah starts actually next week. So I am going to be using these locks for part of our festival. So
very cool.
One of the days or one of the nights of Hanukkah, I'll be pulling out some locks and sit back with a family of kids and enjoy them.
Excellent. So, all right, I think you're good, buddy. So let's take that.
Do I have to add?
You got everything in there, I thought.
Just the lime and the...
Yep, you got the lime, you got the lemon, you got the orange.
I didn't do the lemon.
Okay, so run the lemon.
All right. So, as I'm trying to get these mixtures together, I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely love the smell of these fruits. It's just so refreshing. It feels like spring.
So unfortunately, spring's a ways away.
This is making me hungry. I want to do this right. I'm going to have to put my initials on the salmon so my wife says, "Oh wow, you did a good job, Greg."
All right, let's gather it up. Let's mix those sugars and the salt together.
These two, right?
Yep, just dump them together.
So taking these two.
Yep, same thing that I did.
Dipping it there.
Now you just scoop that zest in.
All right.
And just
now
like I
mix
did,
it
just get in
up.
there with your hands and mix it up.
Okay, I don't know why this is so satisfying. but
There's
this-
something about, coarse ground, coarse salt and sugar that's just makes you smile.
Oh my gosh.
Especially when you apply it to flesh. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is. This is really, it's like watermelon sugar high.
All right, let's get that
The
filet.
watermelons. Hey, you ever put watermelon zest on it?
You can put zest on anything.
Does that do anything?
Yeah, it makes it taste like citrus.
Okay. So we're gonna put this one here. I'm gonna get the pan.
No, you can go ahead and mix right in the same one because we're going
Oh, you want
to
it?
use this one to press.
Ah, got it.
There you go. So put it right in there and then just start rubbing. Look at that filet that I did
take
really
that skin
quick.
off?
Nah. Look at that filet right there. You can see how that salt's already pulling the moisture out of that thing. I don't know where
And now
the
just
camera
reach
is.
in and just throw it all over, right?
Yep, and then you're going to roll it over.
All right.
Just remember to be generous.
I'm being generous.
Yep, there you go.
Spread that out.
Now flip it.
Oh, a little bit more. There you go. All right. Gosh. Can't wait to eat this. This is going to be some good stuff. If you could sit in here right
You're
now
good.
and take a smell of how this smells. I don't smell any of the salmon right now. All I smell is just awesome zest. Flip it over.
Yep.
Is that good?
Yep.
On this side?
Now just take some of that left over and redistribute it on both fillets. Just like so.
I'm going to grab it from here a little
Yep,
bit.
and just kind of keep rubbing it around on both of them.
This is fun.
Beautiful. So now I'm going to put the camera down
Okay.
and we're going to come over and we're going to grab a piece of plastic wrap.
Now, do I have to have them fully covered with the salt before we do this?
I think that it's going to happen pretty well with the amount that we have on there. We're going to be okay.
Yeah, so I add a little bit more? Just
No, I
all
think
the
you're
time?
good. No, I think you're good. Remember, I told you these fillets were smaller than what I anticipated.
Yeah.
So we really could have got away with doing both of them with just the one.
Okay.
But now we're going to apply the plastic, and all the plastic is going to do is give us a barrier.
So this is what they look like right now. I was asking Chef if we need to cover like more on the ends or anything like that. And right now, you said that we're okay, right?
Yep, we're good.
This is
We're gonna
fine.
be fine.
So will this pop a lot of flavor then? you
Oh,
think?
it's going to explode with
Okay.
flavor. When we get on the back side of this, we'll come back with and we'll show how to properly slice it and how to present it as
Oh,
well.
sweet. Okay, so this won't be too salty or too sugary.
We would get too salty if we went too long.
Oh.
It's all about time.
Okay.
And these are smaller, so I'm thinking 2 days under pressure is going to be more than enough. But we'll check them for firmness
Got
to
it.
make sure it's done all the way through before we get into it.
Perfect.
So now we're going to put our plastic on here. And all this plastic is doing is just giving us a barrier, not allowing any foreign objects to get into the pan, no physical contamination. Okay, and then we're just going to stick this other pan right on top. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to do though. I wanted to make sure these were head to tail. So I'm just going to take that and flip that around. There we go. The reason I did that is I want my pressure to be even. If I have my thick side on one end of the pan, then my pressure on the fish is not going to be equally applied across the entire surface,
So
which
if
is
I was
important.
so if I was just doing
Head
one
to tail,
salmon,
head to tail.
but if I was doing one salmon, it doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter, but you would want the majority of your weight to be on the thick end and less on the thin end.
Okay.
It's just about distribution of pressure. So now, we're good there. I just gotta run out real quick, I'll be right back.
All right. I'm washing my hands real quick, but this is a lot of fun, and it makes a lot of sense what Chef said. Whenever you're actually putting that pressure on the salmon, it makes sense to even out or put a little more pressure on the thicker side and not as much on the other, because when you said to me that time is what makes it either too salty or not salty, that compression and that pressure that puts into it, that's going to make a difference with that taste and the texture. So what we're trying to do is when we make this salmon, we want that texture, like the chef continually says, perfect to the bite. And when we start slicing that up in a couple of days, you're going to see how thin we actually do the slices.
You should be able to see through them.
Yeah.
If you can't see through them, they're too thick.
And sometimes that's a mistake that some people make.
Right,
sometimes.
vowels.
All right, so just
There you go.
That's your weight.
That's it. So now, if these fish were Atlantic salmon, the longer, thicker ones, I would have 2 of these.
okay.
But with this one, over time, I'm going to get what I'm looking for. I'm going to get a good cure. I'm going to get a good texture. And I'm thinking as thin as these are, 48 hours is going to deliver for us. So we'll be back here in 2 days. And Greg and I will take you through the process of rinsing these, slicing these, and give you different ideas on how to present and serve.
So I noticed at the can it says 3 pounds. Does it matter how many pounds I put on to pressure it?
It all comes down to the thickness of the fillet.
Okay.
Like I said, if these were the ones that we normally use here and will be, and when we come back from Christmas break, the thicker Atlantics, I would double this up.
Are those usually like what, between 3 to 5 pounds?
Yeah, they come in about 12 pounds, and by the
12
time we're
pounds,
done
wow.
cutting them up, there's probably 4 to 5 pound fillets each.
Okay, and these are a little over 1.5.
They're an inch and a half thick.
And these are a little over a pound. So
It's just about our time and pressure, and with this size fish, I think we're going to be okay.
good deal. Now where are we going with these? In the
Right
fridge or
into
something?
that cooler right
In the
there, if
cooler.
you wouldn't mind getting the door for
Okay.
me, my man. Oh, don't mind this side of beef hanging in here, you guys. We're going to do that later.
So you just put it in a cooler now and let it set for 2 days or 48 hours roughly?
We'll check it in 2 days and see what it's like, and if it needs to go a little bit longer, then we'll let it go a little bit longer. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be there in 2 days.
So if I'm at home making these by myself,
Yep.
and I make it up the way I did, and put it in the pan and put the pressure on it,
Yep.
I would just put it in my refrigerator then.
Yeah, we'll stick it outside this time of year.
Oh yeah, in the
Put it in
winter.
your garage.
Right, is there a certain temperature that I want to keep it at? What's too warm?
No,
What's
food
too...
code tells you you have to be under 41.
Okay,
So we teach to the food code here, so that's what we teach. But you have enough salt and sugar on there, it's going to be okay.
yeah, it won't freeze.
Yeah, if it isn't going to freeze, for sure. I mean, it'd have to get really cold with all the salt that's on there for it to freeze solid.
All right.
But I think in your garage, if you have a shelf to put it on, now, you know, we're a hospitality program, so we shouldn't be talking about curing meat in somebody's garage, but we are.
Good, anything else
So-
to add? Yeah.
Yeah, for my kids, you know, obviously if you guys are doing this in a restaurant, it's the same process you would follow here. Food code still applies. Salt and sugar does give you a bit of a barrier, and it's going to take care of our bacteria. It's going to pull the moisture out, so you're going to have 2 forms of lethality happening right now without any pink salt, and a little bit of pressure is going to make it so that it's palatable. When we come back, we'll show you some different ways to present it, and we'll probably have to have a tasting if I would think.
Good deal, I think so too. So this is part 1 of Loxing Up the Salmon.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
All righty.